I am a Rudy Poo candy ass.
In the myriad of people in the Donald Trump administration that has pissed me off because they completely destroy, ignore, and outright disrespect the institutions that they are supposed to be leading. Pete Hegseth, for one, a drunkard, being Secretary of Defense. The former Attorney General, Pam Bundy, who's led in the conspiracy and a cover-up of the Epstein files. Kristi Noem, the former Homeland Security Secretary that was pretty much given carte blanche to kill American citizens that don't bow to Trump. But one of those people that I really want to talk about, and I have talked about, in fact, this is why this is part 2 of me calling him a candy ass, Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, I'm not going to lowball the man, calling him a drunk or anything else like that, although the description fits, especially when he's swigging down beers after the United States of America hockey team won the gold medal at the Winter Olympics. But it gets worse. You know, I probably should change this video from calling him a candy ass to calling him a whiny little bitch. Because that's what exactly Kash Patel is. A whiny little bitch. Kash Patel is suing the Atlantic website, the news site, because of an article not calling him a drunk, but giving the implication that he is a drunk. The article in question, the FBI director is MIA. Kash Patel has alarmed colleagues with episodes of excessive drinking and unexplained absences. Now, first off, I'm going to read you a couple of paragraphs from this article that it's obvious that Kash Patel hates to his core. Several officials told me, of course, the writer of this article being Sarah Fitzpatrick. Several officials told me that Patel's drinking has been a recurring source of concern across the government. They say that he is known to drink to the point of intoxication, in many cases at the private club Ned's in Washington, D.C., while in the presence of White House and other administration staff. He is also known to drink to excess at the I have to laugh at this, at the Poodle Room in Las Vegas, where he frequently spends parts of his weekends. Early in his tenure, meetings and briefings have to be rescheduled for later in the day as a result of his alcohol-fueled nights. 6 current and former officials and others familiar with Patel's schedule told me. This is bad. And it just keeps getting worse. Back to the article. On multiple occasions in the past year, members of his security detail had difficulty waking Patel, because he was seemingly intoxicated, according to information supplied to the Justice Department and White House officials. A request for breaching equipment normally used by SWAT and hostage rescue teams quickly gained entry into buildings was made last year because Patel was unreachable behind locked doors, according to multiple people familiar with the request. That's bad. You had SWAT teams, SWAT equipment because you are too shit-faced, Patel? Some of Patel's colleagues at the FBI worry that his personal behavior has become a threat to public safety. An FBI director is expected to be focused on his job, especially when the nation is at war with a state sponsor of terrorism. Current and former officials told me that I have long worried about what would happen in the event of a domestic terrorist attack, while Patel is in office, and they said that their apprehension has increased significantly in the weeks since Trump launched his military campaign against Iran. That's what keeps me up at night, one official said. Patel, I may understand the fact that you may have a sickness. Your sickness is alcohol. I understand that. But damn it, you're the FBI director. You are in charge of one of the most important, if not the important, domestic law enforcement agency in the country. And you are acting weak. But Patel decided he wasn't going to take things lying down. He wasn't going to take this lying down. It's all a lie. It's all character assassination. I'm going to play for you a clip, at least one clip, from Fox News, where he was interviewed by Maria Bartiromo, screaming about his lawsuit against the Atlantic. Take a listen.
So you know what? They can beat their drums and stand next to toxic waste all they want, but that doesn't make it toxic waste. And Maria, I'm happy to announce on your show that we are not going to take this laying down. You want to attack my character? Come at me. Bring it on. I'll see you in court.
So you're going to sue them?
Absolutely. It's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow you will be dropping a lawsuit against the Atlantic magazine.
Yes, I will, for defamation. And because you know what, Maria? We have to fight back against the fake news. It's one of the many things that President Trump is so successful at in leading out on, because no one is attacked as baselessly as he is and as much as he is. And our leaders that get attacked under his brilliant leadership must do the same. And I won't tolerate their attacks on me, because they are indirect attacks on the men and women of the FBI that we've cleaned up. And this historic, prolific year of crime reduction across the board is something that all Americans should be. And I know they're proud of it, because I travel across the country and they say our communities are safer than ever before. Our kids aren't dying of drug overdoses. You're stopping terrorist attacks. Maria, in December, in a 4-week span, this FBI stopped 4 terrorist attacks planned over the holiday season. 4. That's more than Joe Biden did in his 4 years. So we're going to get after the fight. And if the fake news mafia wants to, ring their drumbeat as loud as they can, they're never going to stop me from completing the mission that President Trump asked me to do, which is safeguarding America. And we're doing it better than ever.
Bring it on. Bring it on. What the fuck are you, 5? Bring it on. Patel, this is a fight you don't want. This is seriously a fight you really do not want. Because if you bring this lawsuit against the Atlantic, there's something called discovery, which means everything that these officials have been saying is going to come out, unless you lie on the stand, which you are going to, because you've lied about everything else. It's all going to come out. But let's look at this lawsuit. For example, this is just ridiculous. He wants an award for compulsory and special and punitive damage amount not less than $250 million. This guy wants $250 million. All because they piss me off. They shouldn't be talking about my drinking. They shouldn't be talking about the fact that I'm shit-faced sometimes. But you put yourself through this. His lawsuit alleges that this was a hit piece. It wasn't. It was a reasonable concern of the fact that the director of a law enforcement agency is a drunk, to the point where your agents had to actually break down a door to make sure that you were still alive. Patel, this is a fight you don't want. Walk away while you still can. But I think the thing that pisses me off about Patel is that his number one priority isn't the fact that we're living in the heightened state of fear of another domestic terrorist attack, period. Because Donald Trump decided to launch an unprovoked attack against Iran. Whether they want to admit this or not, the likelihood of a possible domestic attack is high. All because of Trump's attack. If I'm the FBI director, my resources and my focus are going to be on defending the American people from such an attack. Not to mention the fact that we've just received reports that scientists have been going missing around the country. And the FBI is not focused on that. At the time of this video, they refocused on it, but it's too little too late. But your number one priority, it seems, is to placate Donald Trump. For one, to cover up the fact that you're involved in a cover-up of the Epstein files that could bury Donald Trump in a heartbeat. And two, most seriously, that you're trying to still continue your bullshit investigation on the 2020 election that Donald Trump lost. Matter of fact, here's another clip from Maria Bartiromo and Fox News about you talking about this.
Let me ask you about the mission, because every time I see President Trump, he says this repeatedly, that the election was rigged in 2020. I mean, he says it all the time. We all know that. And it's almost getting lost because he says it so much. You've been at the FBI now 14 months. Have you done anything about that? And do you have anything to tell us about that?
Absolutely, Maria. Look, I've been with the president nearly since day one on this. As I told you earlier, I was the one that led the effort with folks like Trey Gowdy, Johnny Ratcliffe, and Devin Nunes to expose the corruption that tried to thwart President Trump's first presidential election run. And we saw the FISA abuses there. And I lived through it, and the media came at me then, too. That just shows you that when you're over the target, you keep pummeling the target because the media is going to try and pummel you. We are not going to take this and have not taken this laying down. We did already indict former Director Comey, and that's going through the judicial process. But we also, at this FBI, even though we uncovered what we uncovered back in the House Intel days, I had to come in here and find rooms that they hid from the world. I had to come in here and find access on our computer systems in restricted and prohibited case files that they purposely put in places for no one to see and find. We have found all this information. We are working with our Department of Justice partners, and I am never going to let this go, because they not only have personally attacked the presidency of the United States and President Trump, but they tried to thwart our elections and rig the entire system. And that is not something that is going to stop. That is not something I'm going to allow on my watch. Right. But you just have to remember, they built this disease temple over 20 and 30 years. We've got all the evidence. I can announce on your show that we've got all the information we need. We're working with our prosecutors at the Department of Justice and their Attorney General Todd Blanche, and we are going to be making arrests. And it's coming, and I promise you, it's coming soon.
To be very honest with you, Patel, that sounded like a hostage tape. Please, Donald, I'm doing everything I can. Please don't fire me. Please don't let me go. Don't fire me. I love my job. I love being at the FBI. Please. Patel, you're going to lose your job, and you're going to prison one way or another. Now, you being an alcoholic, I can almost sympathize with if you can't have it, you don't have it under control. But when you try to sue people for calling you an alcoholic, I'm just going to say it now. You're fucking drunk. You're lush. And you proved it plenty of times. And you're trying to use the FBI, the fact that you're FBI director to cover it all up, shows to me that you're a coward. You're a liar. You're a thief. And you are nothing more than
a Rudy Poo Candy Ass.
CTP, no truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.